What is going on, friends? This is Kaz with Elevateyourcraft, and welcome to episode number 15 of the vlog. And had a crazy workout last night. It was really good, which is why I didn't film this yesterday, but I'm resting up today. So I thought, hey, why not film a vlog? And that workout yesterday was 30 minutes. It was purely jump rope. Actually, I did get a bit of calisthenics in. I did get a few sets of dips as well as some horizontal bar dips along with the jump rope. But I thought, you know what? I really want to focus on rope. I was thinking at the time, I really want to focus on rope tonight. So I did 30 minutes of freestyle and then 15 2-minute rounds of mostly just trying to be as efficient as I can, but did incorporate some of the things that were in the freestyle, like rotations, like crossovers, things like that. But it was mostly just trying to be efficient and maximize my endurance for the 15 rounds. So it was 30 minutes of freestyle, then 15 2-minute rounds of straight jumping with a minute between rounds. So just resting up today. But, you know, as I train, I think about some different things. And in the vlog today, I wanted to talk about managing variables in rope training. And what I mean by variables is the elements of training that are most vulnerable to change and therefore prove most difficult. And it was kind of all over the place when I started. I didn't really understand those kinds of things. Kind of just flying by the seat of my pants and ultimately getting better, but not really in any sort of structured or managed way. And effectively managing the variables is crucial in optimizing your overall training because it'll help you make meaningful progress quickly. Because you'll emphasize your strength and then manage your weaknesses. So I'll focus on two beginner elements today, and number one is the actual rope itself, and then number two is jumping over said rope. And those elements might seem rather elementary, but they're variables that beginners would do very, very well in managing. Oftentimes when we pick up a rope for the first time, it's just whatever we can find. It's just a rope that's at the gym. It's one that you bought 5 years ago and then never really touched, or you borrowed it from someone, or you just bought it from a local sporting goods store, but you didn't really know what you were buying. The last time you picked up a rope might have been in elementary school, and you thought, hey, I'll just buy the same one. But again, it's one that we often know little about and how that rope will affect our training. So first you want to make sure that the rope is suitable or most suitable for the training that you want to do. And I highly encourage you to check out the episode of the podcast that I did on rope types, because that'll give you a lot more information on this. But the second thing is you want to ensure that it's the proper rope, proper length for your height. So you find the proper rope, then also one that is at a length that is proper for your height. And I've done a bunch of stuff on those two elements. But the reason those two things are so important is that they're often overlooked by beginners. And those two things are variables. And if they're not managed, a lot of hassle, a lot of hardship can be introduced into your training when you could just be setting yourself up for success right away. So those are the two things that I would first suggest to a beginner that's looking to start jump rope, because they are two very important variables. The other aspect is, as I said, jumping over the rope. And that isn't something that you need to do right off the bat. And that might sound weird to say because that's the goal. That's what you want to do. I want to jump over the rope. But for anyone that's very new, that can be a very frustrating experience because it's not as easy as it may look. It's actually quite difficult. It's a skill, so it's something you need to develop. And what the rope is it's another variable that you're adding to your training, and it will make your training more difficult. And you may not be quite ready for it yet. So the way you are managing jumping over the rope is crucial because you have to handle all these moving parts at once, and it just may be too overwhelming for where you are. So first, I would say actually understand that jumping over the rope is a variable. So if you're looking to go into rope training and you're new to it and you're expecting to get this amazing workout, if you've barely jumped in the past, that might not be the most productive approach. You might want to leave a certain segment of your training specifically for jump rope because you're probably not going to get a great workout. You might just get frustrated and then just forget it altogether. So I'd say for the first, if you have an hour of training, leave it to 15 minutes and then do something that you're confident in that you can get a great workout in. That way you have some skill training as well as just overall cardio type training. And that's another thing that didn't really become apparent to me until later because it was a very frustrating start. I'd often go into workouts saying, hey, I'm going to get this amazing workout. And the meanwhile, I'm just kind of fumbling around, I'm catching a lot, and it became very frustrating. So overall, the idea is to look at the areas of your training that are most subject to inconsistency, and then see if there's a way that you can manipulate or break them down to benefit your training. It's not easy to do, but no one really said it would. So that's the idea behind managing your variables in your training, because if you can manage them effectively, like I said, you will emphasize your strengths, but also address your weaknesses, as opposed to always just emphasizing your strengths and then avoiding the weaknesses, because there will come a point where you will reach critical mass and the weaknesses that you left behind will be what are limiting you from making the progress that you need to make. Shadow jumping is something that I have mentioned a ton of times in my previous podcasts and vlogs, but I can't emphasize it enough here. And it relates closely to that variable of jumping over the rope. You don't actually need to jump over it early on in your training. Maybe you can simulate the jump without the rope in hand, and you can kind of just jump and give it a shot and get your body used to actually just jumping. And then second, you might be able to just put both handles of the rope into one hand and then simulate jumping that way. That way you can develop rhythm while also getting your body accustomed to jumping. So those types of things will help greatly. So what I wanted to do with this vlog is not only talk about those two variables, because there are so many that you can take into account. And one of the big things about my training now is managing those variables and saying, okay, where am I inconsistent? What's going on here? Where am I catching? Where are my hands? Is that the ideal place? My dominant side versus my weak side, those are variables as well that I really want to take into account. And this sort of philosophy, this approach came from progressive calisthenics, where I was doing very similar things and just breaking down my training into manageable parts. So jump rope is a skill, so treat it that way. You need to understand what you want out of your rope, what you want out of your training, so you can foster the right mindset. And then if you're really managing your variables effectively, your training will be less frustrating, and you'll be able to make more significant progress and have an overall more structured approach, which I think it will be great for your training overall. Okay, so that is the Managing Variables in Rope Training vlog, and I'll definitely be talking about more variables as time goes on, and I've already addressed a bunch of them in my other vlogs, but now it's kind of just addressing, hey, there are these variables in our training, let's understand them and then look at how we can improve and just make that significant progress overall. But that's it for me today, and I'll check you guys later.